Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to Zero to Hero episode 3. This is just going to be a quick intro because I have a lot of ground to cover and I really need to catch up. So, this is actually really old footage, but over the next couple of videos, I'll be catching up on the progress of the account. So, I'll be showing you the account progression in the same montage style that I've kind of been doing, and then periodically I'll be stopping just to give you a rundown on what you just saw. That way at least I give some context to the video, but also in this one I'll be completing my seasonal character, and this is actually the very first seasonal character. This isn't the second one that I've already done, but if you want a guide on seasonal characters, I have a video on that, and I should probably leave that in the link in the description. But then also what I'll be doing is I'll be doing some desert activities, some boss rushes, collection log, and also I'll show you what to do once you finish your seasonal character. So how do you boost your CP? What do you do with all of the resources that you get at the end of the season? And more or less just kind of like how do you equip all of that stuff. But also I'll be working on my camp a little bit, and then for the most part this is pretty much going to be a rinse and repeat for the other videos. So I may be skipping quite a bit of content just for the sake of catching up, but anytime that I'm really skipping something, it's pretty much something that I've already covered. So like working on your pets, doing collection log stuff. So I'll probably cover it once just like I always do, but then after that I won't really talk about it too much just for the sake of not harping on the same topic over and over. So once I've gotten a few of these things in order, I'll be moving on to the next steps, which is completing a bunch of the story quests. And when I say story quests, I don't mean the main quest, I mean the actual stories that are in the game. And then once I do that, I'll be working on unlocking some other content such as Fairy, Great Ocean, Land of the Morning Light, and then I'll work on all of the knowledge that I've already skipped so far. So that'll probably be like separate videos, but I just wanted to let you know kind of what the plan is for the account and for the series. So with all of that being said, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so just a really quick recap. I worked on some desert content. I filled out more of my collection log by getting some items from Shikatu's shop. I also worked on getting my boss difficulties up to level 99. So I highly encourage working on your boss knowledge, but then also like raising your difficulties for these bosses because like it's really going to help your CP in the long run. But also whenever you're doing it, just do like a multiplier of 1 up until you get to level 99. And then you can skip levels in increments of 5. So realistically, you only have to do it like 20 times or so. But once you get to level 99, then you can use all of your passes. That way you can kind of maximize how much knowledge you're getting out of each one of these passes. Just to kind of continue on what I was working on, I also worked on my pet skills. I upgraded my seasonal character's equipment. So all of the equipment is actually maxed out now. So once I get to the end of the seasonal missions, I'll be able to complete them right away. And then also I continued my main story. So that way, basically, so I can keep working on my seasonal missions. I have to keep working on this main story because it's really the main thing barring me from completing this. Again, this is pretty much stuff that I've already done before. So I'm going to pretty much just continue the montage. But one quick piece of advice is if you're ever at a spot like where I am on screen, where the monsters are getting a little bit more difficult, try to raise your CP by doing different tasks. I would say like the best things that you could do is to raise your black spirit level using some of those abyssal condensed dark energy chests. And then also what you can do is try to raise your rift stone levels. So use your chaos crystals and you can get some pretty quick CP that way. But then also, like I said before, if you're ever stuck, you can go back to doing some boss knowledge. So again, use multiplier of 1, get your difficulty up to level 99, and then use all the passes that you already have on those bosses. I'm not saying use all of your boss passes. I'm just saying all of the runs that you've already purchased. Just go ahead and use them. But also level 99 knowledge or difficulty is going to be required for whenever you unlock Hadum anyways. So make sure you do that and it should help you get through some like difficult parts. But again, with all that being said, let's continue. Okay, and with that, I have completed the seasonal character. So, just as a quick recap for what I did at the very end, was make sure that you open all of your chests that you're given and equip all of the gear that you've been given. So, you'll also want to put on the relics that are relevant to the skills that you're using. But then, furthermore, with your relics, make sure that you equip your primal glyph and any of the other glyphs that you've been given. Those are really going to help you boost your CP. So, those are also really nice. I didn't actually show it in the footage, but I was continuously working on my camp. So also make sure that while you're doing this, you're working on your camp, because especially you'll need to upgrade your town hall, and then you'll also need to build a relic altar. So having that relic altar is what's going to enable you to imbue those glyphs into your relic. So I kind of showed it on screen, but you'll need to have that relic and then just kind of put it in there. It's super simple. Most of these things are pretty simple, but just kind of continuing on what I was saying was also make sure that you equip your rift totem, and then once you equip your totem, make sure that you combine all of your other totems into it. That's a really nice CP boost as well. And then also all of those special skills that are attached to those totems are going to be applied to your rift totem. So also just continuing on this, I also equipped my Perilla's star onto my ornament, and then I also equipped a bunch of chaos crystals onto my equipment. So most of this, it's just a whole bunch of CP that we've been given. So make sure that you're doing this. But because I finished my season, I also wanted to use some of my resources that I had been saving up. So I upgraded my rift totem, and then I also upgraded my Sylvia goddess statue. So again, now that the season's over, I wanted to move more into the topics of what you should be doing now that the game kind of gives you a little bit less guidance. You're not really told what you need to do, so I'm just gonna kind of give you like things that I did and things that I think you should kind of be aware of, because while you were working on your seasonal characters, a lot of this stuff isn't really brought to your attention. So I at least wanted to let you know about it. Like there's a lot of different things that you'll need to go back and do, especially with stories, but you'll also need to like cover things with knowledge. But that's kind of gonna be in like a different video. But again, I'll briefly touch on it. So just what I wanted to do is give you a list of things that I started on first, and again, in the next video, I'll kind of be working on the stories that I skipped, and then as well as the knowledge. So the very first thing that I did once I finished my season was I started working on my Gear Awakening quests. So these are pretty easy, so getting them knocked out early is really nice. But also, even though you have awakened gear, it doesn't mean that that quest is going to be unlocked already. So because you finished your seasonal character, you'll get awakened gear as a reward, but you'll still need to do those quests. So to actually access those quests, you have to have a blacksmith in your camp. And then I don't know if it has to be like a certain level, but whenever you go to your blacksmith, select Gear Awakening, and then for each one of your armors and each one of your accessories, you'll need to complete a quest. So just kind of work on those, and while you're working on those, like you can do other things in the background. So they're pretty easy, but you can't accept all of them at once. So kind of pick wisely which ones you want to do first. I did the really easy ones first, and then I moved on to like killing monsters last, just because what I wanted to do was level up and then work on like other characters. The next thing that I highly recommend is go back and get to the max difficulty for as many bosses as you can, and then use all of your passes. So because the bosses that you're doing now are just Elion, you're not doing Hadum yet, you can pretty much use any passes that you've already purchased. But then we'll kind of get into Hadum like in the next video. But doing this will really quickly boost your CP, and it'll earn you a lot of black pearls early on. So that'll be super helpful. I'll show a little bit more of me working on these bosses here in the future, but just know that they're really important. Something small that I also wanted to mention as well was during the video, I unlocked a story to upgrade Patricio's shop, but my recommendation is don't accept that quest or don't complete that quest early on. I would say keep buying from Patricio without the quest, because without upgrading Patricio's shop, you can still get tier 2 pets, and you'll need all of the tier 2 pets, all the tier 3 pets that you can get, because you'll still need to unlock your pet album, and it's a lot easier to do that while you have the the lower tier Patricio shop. So once you've actually like completed your album for tiers 2, tier 3, then you can kind of upgrade it. But if you're ever like wondering like, well, how do I get more pets as well? Like if I have all these pets, but I need to upgrade them eventually anyways, I don't want to like get rid of them. What I would say is do ancient ruins and try to get some baby Kabua, and those will be pretty much used as fodder, so that way you can upgrade your pets. So just kind of keep that in mind. Something else that I wanted to mention was that if you have relic fragments, you can also offer them in the pearl shop to make relics, but also I recommend offering them to the altar. So whenever you offer them to the altar, you can get additional bonuses. So you can get stuff like extra weight for your character, extra field experience, increased drop rate, and then also dark energy XP. I really recommend using the field XP and the drop rate first. Those are very good. And then like if you do it early on, it's actually like the bonuses will really help you in the long run. So make sure that you do that. And then also if you ever get bored, or if you like want to break from grinding for like CP or from leveling or doing boss rushes, I highly recommend working on your alternate characters. So like your family characters, you'll need at least 5 additional characters. So that way you can do higher levels of Constellation and Path of Glory. But also you can send alternate characters out for dispatch to collect knowledge. So that could be like Hadum knowledge, or you can send them out to do Tower of Trials, which is for Elion and Hadum. Once you get to the max level of Hadum, you can unlock Chaos, which that's really good as well. So one last thing that I forgot to mention for upgrades was that whenever you get your awakened gear, you can also awaken enchant your gear. So make sure that you're doing that for your Chaos gear, because the early stages of Chaos enchantment is really easy, and it's basically free CP. So this is just like another way that you can boost your CP. But again, with all of this being said, I'm going to show you a quick montage of the account's progression with all of these things that I've implemented. But in the next video, I'll kind of show you a little bit more of what you should be doing for stories and everything like that. But this will be the last montage, and then hopefully this gives you like an idea of what you should be doing. But yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoy.